What do you say about the pictures of Tiger Woods in rehab? Altered. Here's the thing about it. We're not in the game. We made a decision when we started this up that we are not going to show celebrities in rehab. So you're just not going to see it here. And that's just, and I know, too, that there are certain things like, David Hasselhoff with the hamburger. We didn't put that story up. I mean, we internally make certain decisions about what we'll do, what we won't do. So even if people want to see certain things, I mean, you will never see that on our site.
Well, let me explain. Think about this, everybody that's out there listening. Tiger Woods, let's say he's in this rehab in Mississippi. Think about being me and having to call. It's the most uncomfortable thing. Rehab is one of those things. Number one, if they're getting help for whatever problem they have, good for them. Number two, when you're calling to try to figure out if someone's in rehab, it's very uncomfortable. It feels not right when you're doing it. And then if you see them and they're actually in the facility, which is what these photos are, if it's him at all, it's just not okay. It makes you feel gross.
Well, but look, I mean,
it's one of those things we have to decide when we're working on it.
But you have to temper it a little bit. Is the fact that he's, if he's in rehab, does that get reported? I think that's different from showing a picture of somebody going in and out. Especially if it's kind of already.
Well, yeah, we put a picture.
But it's very much gradations. I mean, it's very much gradations. I mean, the reports are all out there. I mean, you can't unscramble the egg in that. But in terms of showing the pictures, I mean, we made a decision.
Oh, did he?
Great. What is?
We haven't talked about it.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked about it.
Kind of.
But but
we put up a picture. What my point was, for instance, we put up a picture. They're building this huge second fence so that the media can't see into the facility. That story is interesting. I think people want to know about that.
But
so
listen,
we did that part.
Fairly, this is a debatable issue, and it's something that we debate all the time here. And I know that you guys will send us comments about this all the time, and it's something we talk about literally all day long. I mean, I don't think this is absolutely yes, absolutely. I mean, there are gradations to everything, and I mean, this is what you do in this job is that you debate things all day long, which we have plenty of debates all day long. Which is good.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
But that's what should happen, is that you should have these debates all day long. Can you give us any... Well, funny enough, I just told you guys that. Conan has been officially severed by NBC. Not quite yet. And has non-disparaging clauses. How is it possible that Jay, who is not only still employed by NBC, but the suits are bending over backwards for him, is allowed to continue ripping apart the network and the stupid decisions and the mistakes? I think it's a fair question. And I guess the answer is it's business. That Jay Leno is allowed to make fun of NBC because Jay Leno still makes money for the network, and they don't want to have Conan right now. I mean, that's really kind of where it stands. So it's not like there's equality in any of this stuff. I mean, you can't look at this as equality. There never has been in any area of show business. It's business. And Leno was right in that respect. What's really interesting is the viciousness now. I mean, if you saw David Letterman just viciously attack Jay Leno, and Jay Leno viciously attacked Conan. I mean, not Conan, David Letterman. I mean, boy, you watched that yesterday? Unbelievable. So this has gotten dark.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not cool anymore.
It used to be funny.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But now it's gotten, you can see, wow, it just turned about 3 days ago, and it got so personal. And I think now Conan will be gone. And Conan's going to be sitting out until September if he goes to Fox at all. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I mean, because the Fox thing's real interesting. But, in fact, if you guys are listening, Tyler is printing all this stuff out. Somebody asked me about Fox and Conan because it's an interesting story. But after Conan is gone, this war between Letterman and Leno, I think, is going to linger and just get worse. I mean, if you guys didn't see it, it was unbelievable last night.
Well,
unbelievable.
Someone wrote in, and this is the greatest thing if this could have happened. Someone wrote in, I think it was on our regular emails, but on the day Jay comes back after the Olympics and starts his new show, The Tonight Show again, Letterman's on. What if Letterman had Conan on his show that night when they go head to head? That would be the greatest interview. And Letterman and Conan go on.
And I initially got a tip.
He probably can't say anything about it.
No, well, yeah, I got a tip from somebody about whether he can do those shows and do Oprah and things like that.
Yeah.
And initially I was told by somebody, we never published this, but I was told he couldn't. But then I did some more checking. He can do those shows.
Can't.
It's just the non-disparaging clause.
So it's like you have to go around NBC while you're talking.
Oh, and he will push it and push it and push it.
I was going to say.
Oh yeah.
I think he can.
Well, everybody knows that. Who's the guy who stands in the corner show cracking funny jokes? His name is Rick. He is hilarious. He is hilarious. And Rick does stand-up comedy.
We asked him for a lot of the information about this, too. We're talking about comedians.
Like, because Rick
how does this
actually
work
does.
in the comedian world? Like,
Rick is
dogging each other.
Rick's a producer on the TV show, and he is hilarious. And he writes these TV pieces that are just amazing.
This is actually a great question.
He's so funny.
Harvey, I've been begging to ask you this question. Why is it that when I read the first page of TMZ, there are a certain set of stories, but then when I come back later in the day, there are new stories in the middle of the old stories that are still on top?
I mean, look.
Why do you do that?
It's a good question, and it's a programming issue, and it's something we struggle with all the time. That, for example, this morning we broke the Conan O'Brien story about, that his executive producer is getting $4.5 million, that they'll probably make the deal today, and we had good information in that. So that's a really good story that people are interested in. Then we publish, all of a sudden, 15 other stories really quickly today. I mean, we published a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking, and David's sitting back there, and he's the coordinating producer on the site. And I said, David,
hey, David,
what's going on here? Conan's like number 13 on the site, and it's only been up, for 2 hours in the morning.
And it can go off the page.
And so I say, yeah, it's going to go off the page to the second page. I said, put it back up, third or something like that. So we do publish down, but you just got to. And when we started this thing, what I was told was the convention is just keep publishing down. Don't change. Don't keep anything up at the top. Just publish down, publish down, publish down. And I tried that, and it just never felt right. And there are certain stories that you just feel like you want to keep up there when you're publishing a lot of other stuff. And you just do it case by case. And sometimes I look at it and think, oh, that's been up too long. There's no science to it. When it feels like that should move down, we kind of do it. But in the natural course of things, we just keep publishing down. So most of the things just keep going down. But then sometimes we'll move things back up.
I have a great example. Did you see the Marisa Miller post we put up?
Yeah.
So we have this Charlie Sheen story that's going on as we speak. It's very important. It's a big story. We broke the story. We want to keep it near the top of the site. Stuff is happening in the newsroom, and we need to publish some stuff. And Marisa Miller, who is probably one of the top 3 hottest people on the planet, works for Victoria's Secret. There was a rumor, a couple reports today, that Victoria's Secret and her split ways, that she doesn't work there anymore. We contacted Victoria's Secret, and we got a statement basically saying, not only is that not true, we love her. She's our hottest model, blah, blah, blah. So my struggle with me and David were talking about it, whether or not we put that at the top of the site, because here's what we did. We put together a great big photo gallery, so whether you care whether or not she's working there, everybody wants to stare at her for 26 clicks. So we kind of want everyone to see that. The problem is you can't put it above Charlie Sheen if people haven't read the newest updates. We have video.
It's all very relative. And, what I learned from this whole thing is you should not make it a science where you do the same thing over and over. You have to look at every day. You have to just look at every story. How it come that Jeremy Piven had all of his hair at the Golden Globes?
Oh man, I wish he would just come out and say it.
Well, he says it's not. He says he fell during doing theater as a kid.
I was looking online, and the next day, somebody had posted a graph of exactly how they did the surgery.
Do you think that Heidi Montag made a mistake in that she is not recognizable and looks like someone else? Yes, I think she made a huge mistake. And I don't care whether she looks better now than she did a month ago. I don't care. The thing is, number one, she can't move her damn face. I mean, it's like there's no expression on her face, and I don't understand how that's hot when somebody has no expression left in their face. And that's what I don't get about the whole Botox thing even. But certainly, plastic surgery where you're expressionless and... and then she's 23 years old. So what's going to happen when she's 27, when some of that plastic crap wears off, and then she starts doing it again, and then she becomes like this monster, when she's 42. And it's like, number one, I think it's a bad message for kids. I think it's bad for her.
That's true. But she'll be Pamela Anderson when she's 27.
I think it's a bad message. I mean, kids look up to the hills. They do.
There's the problem. The problem is not Heidi. The problem is if anybody's looking up to the hills, we got other issues.
Well, we do have other issues, but
that is a problem.
Well, you asked whether I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake.